Hello and a very warm welcome to Holmes Ford International Sports Centre.
We're ready to go then with event 503 in the women's pool. It's the 100-meter freestyle. This is heat 1.
And the men's pool event 504 is the 100-meter freestyle.
In the women's heat 1, we've got Milton, Mannock, Clark, Gibb, Devonport, Kerr and Ryan. Entry times around 1:12 from the centre of the pool. Lane 5, Hannah Devonport from Leicester, 1:12.52 was her entry time. And she has gone under that 1:08.57, and Natasha Milton has swum 1:05.53 for the heat victory. And in Heat 1, we've got two of our para swimmers. Lane 2 is Emily Mannock in the S9 classification representing Oxford. Lane 7 is Charlotte Ryan of York in the S6 classification. Mannock's entry time 2:04.81. Ryan in lane 7, her entry time 2:07.44. So let's have a look at the clock as these two come into the closing stages of this heat. Ryan touches in 2:04.43, 3 seconds off of her entry time. And Mannock 2:08.53 to conclude Heat 1. In the women's pool, this is Heat 2. Nine swimmers in Heat 2 for the women's 100-metre freestyle. We've got Warlow, O'Donnell, Jacek, Young, Jones, Smith, Mackey, Hoiberg and Zhao. It is Jacek from Mackey by 0.38 seconds. Lane 2 from lane 6 at the 50-metre split. And with 25 to go, they're still very close by. Maybe just about in third place over in lane 8 is Fei Zhao. Holly Jacek of AECC is just looking to pull clear in the final few strokes, and she does so to take the heat victory in 1:06.84. In the women's pool, it's time for heat 3. Women's heat 3, we've got Mardell, Winterbourne, Thorne, Steele, Moreland, Parker, Shaw, Pokluda, Parsons and Meese. And it's fairly even between lane 2, Nick Thorne, and lane 7, Viviana Pokluda. Heat 2 was won from lane 2. Let's have a look where Heat 3's victory is going to go. It's also going to go in lane 2 for Cardiff Met's Nick Thorne in a time of 105.77. And in the women's pool, time for heat 4. Women's heat 4 from lane 0, we've got Tinley, Bott, Ogley, Zheng, Ahern, O'Leary, Last, Lee, Knowles and Allen. In the women's pool at the 50-metre split, O'Leary from Ogley by just 0.06 of a second. So lane 5, O'Leary, leading Ogley in 2 by very fine margins, and those two are clear of the rest. Ogley of Plymouth Margin, 107.21 her entry time. She is possibly just pulling away in the closing stages here. There's something in the water in lane 2 because that's the 3rd heat in a row that's been won from there, this time in 102.43. In the women's pool, it's heat 5. Women's heat 5, lane 0, Anna McLafferty. In 2 is Grace Riley. 3, Maddie Good. 4, India Povey. 5, Sarah Guia. 6, Mary McBean. 7, Izzy Grispiet. 8, Hambry Tracy, and 9 is Bentley. In the women's heat 5, lane 3, Maddie Good of Manchester had half a second advantage at the 50-metre split. She has a clear advantage in the pool as well. A length up on lane 5, Sarah Guillat of Stirling. And Maddie Good of Manchester takes heat 5 in a time of 1:03.79. In the women's pool, it's heat 6. Women's heat 6, we've got Lorber, Kane, Hart, Thomas, Gibbons, Georgiou, Lopez, Lucy and Baskyfield. The women's heat 6, it's Anya Thomas in lane 3. She had a second advantage or thereabouts at the 50-metre split over Marie Lorber in lane 0. And it is Lorber of Bangor in 0, who is definitely not a second behind now. It's going to be between lanes 0 and lane 3. Looks like a great second half of the race for Marie Lorber of Bangor. Wins the heat in 1:03.47. In the women's pool, it's heat 7. In 0, it's Hartley. In 1, it's Vymans. 2, Darnton. 3, Liu. 5, Honeyman. 6, Taylor. 7, Britton. 8, Borouata. And 9 is Evans. Britton, Hartley and Liu, the top 3 at the halfway stage of heat 7 in the women's pool. It's going to be between lane 0 and 7. Previous heat winner came from 0, Jasmine Hartley of Dundee in 0. Britton in 7. It is Hartley in lane 0 for Dundee in a time of 1:84 seconds. In the women's pool, it's heat 8. In 0, Perry, 1, Watson, 2, Pilton, 3, Wren, 4, McDade, 5, Barnes, 6, Ward, 7 is Hanson, 8 is Hickson, and 9 is Holdsworth Bienek. Extremely close between lanes 6, 7, 8 and 9 in the women's pool. It was lane 9, Phoebe Holdsworth Bienek, that held a slender advantage at the 50-metre mark, but it's certainly not the case now. Coming through in lane 7 is Gemma Hanson of Sheffield. She's just in front of that quartet, but there's a fast finish coming in lane 6 from Felicity Ward of Lincoln. It's going to be between those two. It is Felicity Ward of Lincoln that takes it in 103.68. In the women's pool, it's heat 9. In 0 is Thomas, in 1 Watson, 2 is Woodbridge, 3 is Draw, 4 is Thompson, 5 Uber Vichuti, 6 Barber, 7 Davis, 8 is Hill, and in lane 9 Darcy Burnham. Close one in heat 9 in the women's pool. Neve Barber, 0.2 of a second up in lane 6 at the 50-metre split. She might just about be a couple of fingertips in front. She's got close company in lane 5 from Andre Ubervichuti from Sheffield Hallam in lane 3 as well. Anna Draw is going well. This one is going to be close. It is from lane 3. It's Anna Draw from Warwick in 102.05. In the women's pool, this is heat 10. From lane 0, we've got Dowden, Das, Rogers, Quinn, Greenwood, O'Reilly, Green, Cassati, Teal and Adamson. Teal in 8, Adamson in 9. The first two to turn at the 50-metre mark. They are certainly two of the front three here, because in lane 2, Faye Rogers for Aberdeen is also swimming well. It's going to be between 2 and 8. It is going to be lane 8, Jess Teal of Aberystwyth in a time of 1 minute, 0.45 seconds. In the women's pool, it's heat 11. Heat 11 then from 0, we've got May, Shires, Brown, Straupeniks, Beasley, Utapova, Doherty, Mason, Ranu and Shaw. Eve Beasley in the women's pool in lane 4 with a third of a second advantage at the 50-metre split, but it certainly doesn't look like that much over lane 2. Eleanor Brown of Oxford, and Brown has a super turn for the final 25. She might be just in front. Don't count out Gracie May of Exeter in 0 as well. It's going to come from 0, 2 or 4. Is it the fast finishing Eleanor Brown of Oxford? It is, in a time of 1 minute, 0.96 seconds. In the women's pool, it's heat 12. Heat 12 competitors then from lane 0, Keogh, Lawrence, Wood, Ramshaw, Wang, Conticini, Tang, Aspen and Sharp. In the women's pool, less than a second between all of them in terms of entry times, less than a second between pretty much all of them at the halfway stage. Who has got the strength and the speed in the second half of the race? Prisca Conticini of Glasgow has certainly moved her way to the front of this heat in lane 6. Conticini, 101.55 her entry time. She's gone sub 1 minute in a time of 59.91 to take victory in heat 12. In the women's pool, it's heat 13. Ten swimmers in this heat, starting from lane 0. We've got Hollis, Murray, Howman, Maskell, O'Meara, McDonald, Thompson, Aspinall, McCulloch and Ring. Molly Aspinall, 0.35 seconds ahead at the 50-metre split. She looks about still ahead of the rest at this stage. Lane 4, Erin O'Meara of Newcastle is ahead of the rest. There's a good finish from Ellie Hollis in Bournemouth in lane 0. The heat victory is going to come in lane 7 from Molly Aspinall of Oxford. 59.49 for victory in heat 13. In the women's pool, it's heat 14. Starting from lane 0, we've got Schulman. In 2 is Trajano. 3, Falls. 4 is Gallo. 5 is Goodfellow. 6 is Brown. 7 is Sutherland. 8, O'Keefe. And in lane 9 is Hardy. Heat 14 leader in the women's pool throughout most of it has been lane 9, Amelia Hardy. Ellie O'Keefe in lane 8 for Cambridge has been right by her side the whole way through. And let's have a look at lane 0 as well. We got Becca Schulman from Stirling. Where is the heat win going to go? It's going to Ellie O'Keefe of Cambridge in lane 8 in a time of 1 minute, 0.44 seconds. Final heat in the women's pool, it's heat 15. Whiting, Lines, Thornton, Oxborough, Van der Westhuizen, Paisley, Gregory, Moore and Ground in this one. One, 5 and 9, the lanes to watch in this final heat of the women's 100-metre freestyle. Lane 1 is Francesca Whiting of Nottingham, and she is in the lead in this final heat. Paige van der Westhuizen of Stirling in lane 5, maybe just ahead of the rest. Let's have a look at the clock for Francesca Whiting. 58 seconds on the money for Nottingham to win heat 15. Next up in the women's pool, it's event 505, the 100-metre breaststroke. This is heat 1. In the first heat of the women's 100-metre breaststroke, in 1 we've got Pilkington, 2 Marsh Nelson, 3 Bachakoglu, 4 is Ray, 5 Vikins, and 6 we've got Wilson, 7 is Jasmine Ellis, and lane 8 Emily Mannock. Good battle at the front of Heat 1 between lanes 4 and 5, and in those final 25 metres, Caroline Ray of Stirling managed to pull away from Ella Vikins, 1:22.89, the Heat winning time there, a full second ahead of Ella Vikins in the end. Just coming through in lane 1 in Heat 1 in the women's pool, Laura Pilkington of Edinburgh Napier, 2:07.3 her entry time, 2:03.4 her time in this heat, a super improvement on her entry time. In Heat 1 in the women's pool, let's show some appreciation in lane 8 for Emily Mannock of Oxford. Swimming in the S9 classification. She's already swum once this morning already, 2:47.8 her entry time. She's going to be a little way outside that. But let's cheer in for the final couple of strokes. Well done to Emily Mannock there, concluding Heat 1 in lane 8. In the women's pool, it's time for Heat 2. Full complement in the women's pool for Heat 2. Lane 0 is Wright, lane 1 Mackay, lane 2 Weldon, lane 3 Mikhailova, lane 4 Rafferty, lane 5 we've got Pollock, lane 6 Fenimore, lane 7 Riak, lane 8 is Whedon, and in lane 9 Nicole Go of Cambridge. Split time at the first 50 metres has Rafferty, Imi Rafferty of Exeter, 0.62 seconds up on Anna Pollock of Aberdeen. Imi Rafferty led at the halfway stage in 4, but there's a fast finish either side of her. Maybe it's Anastasia Michalova of Brunel in lane 3 that's going to push her closest. Rafferty just about holding on for Exeter with a heat-winning time of 1:19.09. In the women's pool, it's time for heat 3. Heat 3 in the women's pool. In 0, we've got Salkeld. In 1 is Long. Lane 2, O'Leary. 3 is Head. Lane 4, Hussey. Lane 5 is Park. Lane 6, Goods. Lane 7, we've got Boyle. Lane 8 is Downs. And lane 9 is Georgina Stokes. At the 50-metre split time, it is Lucy Park of Bangor that is 0.6 seconds up on Hannah O'Leary of York in lane 2, who herself is just 0.02 of a second ahead of Laura Head from Edge Hill in lane 3. So 2 and 3 side by side behind lane 5, Lucy Park. And heat 3 concludes in the women's 100-metre breaststroke. Lucy Park of Bangor, 1:19.42 from O'Leary of York in 1:19.91. In the women's pool, it's heat 4. Women's heat 4, we've got Stephen Bickley, James O'Keefe, Castle Ray, Austin Liu, Newnham and D'Cunha, and it is Liu in lane 7 with almost 1.5 seconds of an advantage over Amelia Ray of Liverpool in lane 5. So Jenny Liu of Warwick leading the way in lane 7. Leader of the chasing pack, Amelia Ray, in lane 5. Super turn from Ray in the middle of the pool, and also Ellie O'Keefe of Cambridge has really come to the fore here in the closing stages of heat 4 of this 100-metre breaststroke, and she looks as if she is going to pull clear of the rest. Excellent finish from Ellie O'Keefe of Cambridge, takes the heat victory in 1:17.84. In the women's pool, it's heat 5. In the women's pool, just over 25 metres to go in heat 5. Our leader, Flora Forrest of Durham, in lane 6. Larriman in 1, and Blair of 5, just about in front of the rest. Flora Forrest of Durham, 1:18.20 her entry time. And she is well inside that for the heat victory, 1:15.92. In the women's pool, it's heat 6. The women's heat 6, we got Blaney, Thompson, Williams, Schultz, Hawkins, Widdup, Bean, Moores and Thompson. It was Widdup of Nottingham in lane 5 that led at the halfway stage, but 7 and 8 are pushing her very close. Chelsea Bean of East Anglia and Lucy Moores of Bournemouth. Those 3 clear of the rest. Is it going to be from 5 or 8 in heat 6? It is going to be in lane 8. Lucy Moores of Bournemouth, 1:16.08. Next event in the women's pool, event 507, the 200 metres individual medley. This is heat 1.
Look how stretched, feel the material on that. Oh, yes, exactly. And that's where you skills. And that's why they're dirty as well.
Just 2 swimmers in the first of the 4 remaining heats in the 200 metres individual medley. In lane 4, representing Cambridge University, we've got Fei Zhao. And in lane 5 for Heriot Watt, it's Jess Riek. Looking at their entry times, Zhao 2.5 seconds quicker on paper than Riek. And it's Zhao who's made the quickest start. Just over 2.5 seconds ahead of Riek in the pool. Halfway stage of this first heat, Fei Zhao touching in 1:20.33. Another half a second up now on Jess Riek. The gap almost 3 seconds, 2.96. So we've got 4 heats of this women's 200 metres individual medley to see in this session. We had the fastest 4 heats of the 200 IM in session 5A earlier this morning. Finals to come, session starting at 3 o'clock this afternoon here at Ponds Forge. 50 metres to go in heat 1. Jess Riek closing the gap slightly, the gap down to 2.48 seconds. Plenty of encouragement here in Ponds Forge for both of the swimmers in this first heat of the women's 200 metre individual medley. It is Fei Zhao that touches first in 2:51.74. That's almost 6 seconds up on her entry time. Jess Riek, 2:58.89, under the 3-minute mark. In the women's pool, it's heat 2. Six swimmers in heat 2 in the women's pool. In 1 is Poppy Crawford, 2 Hannah Tate, lane 3 is Isabel Barrett, lane 4 Jenny Galloway, lane 5 is Grace James, and lane 6 Sophie Jones.
Entry times now all of them 1 minute and 10 seconds. We've already seen the 4 fastest heats earlier on this morning. These guys racing for PBs and pride in winning your heats. Of course they could absolutely still go into the final with an absolutely worldy ever PB. Just saw a great time from Liam Smith. Liam Murphy, sorry, number 5, took him 4 seconds off his entry time at PP. They're going 6th. Fielder representing Warwick in front with Angus Plus of Dundee. It will be the Dundee man at a 106.95 for the win in Heat 6 ahead of Ben Fielder and Tom Effect.
50 metres to go in the women's heat 2, and it's Jenny Galloway of St Andrews in lane 4, well clear of the rest. Grace James closest to her. Grace James has got some clear water between her and the rest of the field. It's Galloway in 4 for St Andrews, who's led from the beginning. Her entry time 2:45.67. And let's have a look at the clock, because it is going to be significantly quicker than that. The heat victory for Jenny Galloway of St Andrews in 2:37.62. In the women's pool, it's time for heat 3. Let's see who we've got in the women's pool for heat 3. McGill in 0, Hill in 1, Tran in 3, Breeze in lane 4, Plater in 5, Gordon in 6, Lipscomb in 7, Marino in 8, and Hawkard in lane 9. Halfway point of heat 3, and it's Sophia Breeze of East Anglia, just 0.2 of a second up on Harriet Gordon of Chichester in lane 6, and Plater less than a second behind as well. Nice and close in 4, 5 and 6 in heat 3 for the women's 200 IM. Sophia Breeze, our leader for so long in heat 3 of the women's 200 metres individual medley, is coming under serious pressure from Chloe Plater of Warwick in lane 5, who is beginning to move away in the closing stages of this heat. Time to perfection on the freestyle leg for Chloe Plater of Warwick. She will take their heat victory in 2:37.06.
Iverson in 0. We jump to lane 2 for Isaac Hall, Joe Stratton, George Clough, Ryan Griffith, Chris Sims, Dan Cox, Ollie Lill and Luke Hoey.
In the women's pool, it's heat 4. In the women's heat 4, the final of the heats in the 200 metres individual medley. In 0, we've got Freya Hartley. Winters in 1 for Lancaster. Lane 4, Basinger of Warwick. Lane 5 is Soper representing York. Stone of Bournemouth in 6. Tatum of East Anglia in 7. And a pair of Durham athletes in 8 and 9, McCormack and James. In the women's pool, Basinger in 4 and McCormack in 8 have had excellent breaststroke legs, making them the top 2, split by 0.57 seconds, and a good 2 seconds ahead of Stone in 3rd with 50 metres to go. What's the freestyle like for Alyssa Basinger of Warwick? 2:35.35. She's the fastest entry time on paper. She is pushing herself clear of the rest. McCormack of Durham still going strongly over in lane 8. But Alyssa Basinger right in the centre of the pool for Warwick will take the victory in heat 4 in a time of 2:32.04. Nice quick heat to finish off the women's 200 metres individual medley. In the blink of an eye, we're back underway in the women's pool. It's the 50 metres butterfly. This is heat number 1. We've got Tulloch, Jones, Beagley, Morland, McMillan, McBean, Richards and Milton. And And in one, Katie Tulloch of Stirling is going to take the heat victory in 31.33. In the women's pool, this is heat 2. In the women's pool, we've got Clive, Parker, Schulman, Yantung, Smith, Gordon, Watterson, Checkley, Dix and Thompson. Heat 2 of the 50 fly. And well in 6, Watterson of Leeds, Beckett. 0, 1 and 2 finishing quickly as well. Let's have a look at the clock. Lane 6, Watterson of Leeds, Beckett in a time of 32.16. In the women's pool, this is heat 3. Heat 3 of the women's 50 metres butterfly. Gordian in 0, Tinley, Timms, Hannaford, Povey, Laurie, Jameson, Park and Childs. First to the 25 metre mark, either in 1 or 3 in Tinley or Hannaford. It's Hannaford of Aston University that looks to be moving just clear of the rest. Emily Hannaford of Aston will take heat 3 in a time of 33.3. In the women's pool, this is heat 4. In heat 4, we've got Thompson in 0, Southall, King McKinnon, Dill, Vikins, Whitaker, Cox, O'Silly and Calder. As they turn for the final 25, 4 athletes in a row in 3, 4, 5 and 8. Coming through now in the centre of the pool, lane 4, Ella Vikins of Cambridge just starting to get moving, and she will take the heat victory in a time of 31.86. In the women's pool, it's heat 5. Starting from lane 1 for heat 5, it's Larriman, Freeborn, Cheesewright, Harrop, Bott, Ward, Woodbridge, Baskyfield and Hart. And Harrod Larriman in 1, going well in 4. Abby Harrop of Leeds Beckett in the centre of the pool. It might just be Harrop of Leeds Beckett that is marginally in front. Larriman still going strongly in lane 1 as well. The heat victory is going to come in the centre of the pool. Lane 4, Abby Harrop in a time of 31.57. In the women's pool, it's time for Heat 6. Heat 6 in the women's pool. Have a look at lane 5. Fionn Miller of Liverpool is going to take this one in 30.37 seconds, ahead of Anthea Chung of Southampton in 31.1. In the women's pool, this is Heat 7. Full pool for this one: O'Reilly in 0, Lipscomb, Newnham, McKean, Patel, Holdsworth, Bienek, Jenner, Casati, Barton and Illett. Lily Jenner of Leeds in lane 6 is looking good. Hannah Newnham of Newcastle in lane 2. Doing well. Let's have a look. It's lane 6. Lily Jenner of Leeds in a time of 30.65. In the women's pool, this is Heat 8. Heat 8 then in the women's pool in 0. We've got Ranu. 1 is T-Bay, 2 is Train, 3 is Palmer Jones, 4 Rayner, 5 Mardell, 6 Payne, 7 is Owen, 8 Howman, and in lane 9 is Lee. We've got 4 or 5 swimmers that could take the heat victory in the women's pool in Heat 8. It's going to be very, very close, and the win is going to come in lane 4 from Exeter's Jessica Rayner in 30.89.
What's his time going to be then? Final 15 metres for Britain. Led by a big margin through 50 metres at 100. He's even leading by a bigger lead margin at the conclusion of the Tour de France. Nobody else in the picture. And his finishing time 2:04.4 for Britain.
Time in the women's pool for Heat 9. In 0, D'Cunha. In 1 is Fallon. In 2, we've got Turner. 3 is Heatham. 5 is Ring. 6 is Spooner. 8, Smith. And in 9 is Shires. The 9th heat of the 50 fly in the women's pool. Lane 2, Poppy Turner of Kiel might just about be edging this one. Lane 5 and 6, Ring and Spooner also in the mix. And it is lane 2, Poppy Turner of Kiel in a time of 30.77 seconds. In the women's pool, it's Heat 10. This is the 10th of 14 heats in this session for the women's 50 fly. Right in front of our commentary position, lane 0, Gracie Kay of Bristol is moving nice and quickly. Lanes 3 and 6 and 8 as well, possibly. Let's have a look. It is 8, Lilman of King's College in 29.89 seconds. In the women's pool, it's Heat 11. Women's Heat 11, Keogh, Corrali, Ponting, Thompson, Matty, Powell, Kemp, Walmsley, Gornall and Wood. Let's have a look in the middle at lane 4, Nalua Matty of Glasgow, well clear of the rest. Let's have a look at the time. 29.07 seconds to take Heat 11. Alyssa Gornall of Edge Hill, 30.6 for second place, 30.73 for Megan Kemp, 100th of a second ahead of Menna Walmsley. In the women's pool, this is Heat 12. Heat 12 in the women's pool, Flint, Follis, Sykes, O'Leary, Pope, Bradley, Douglas, Hodgson, Hammond and Rosie. Four or five swimmers virtually in a line. This one's going to definitely need to go on the touch. 29.68 for Katie Hammond in lane 8. In the women's pool, it's heat 13. Penultimate heat in the women's pool, it's Smith, McDougall, Dean, Holguin, Adcock, Thorne, Allenby, Gillespie, Humphrey and Trajano. Adcock of Bristol in lane 4 is being pressured by Larissa Dean in 2 of Birmingham. And it will be Dean of Birmingham, 29.21 at 8/100ths of a second ahead of Adcock. In the women's pool, it's heat 14. Final heats in the women's pool, Kay, Ground, Smith, Cornford, Parker, Farkas, Waters, May, Sutherland and Underwood. Lydia Parker of Bath in 4, fastest on paper. And she looks to be clear of the rest. Let's have a look at the time, 28.79. In the women's pool, it's time for event 511, the 100-metre backstroke. This is heat 1.
Birdsall of Durham and Marinette Marty of Aston tie on 27.88.
Heat 1 of the women's 100-metre backstroke coming to a conclusion. In 3, it's Beth Johnston. 4 is Josie Lamb. 5, Yvonne Winterbourne. And 6, Emily Mannock. And it is Winterbourne of Cambridge in lane 5 that will touch first in 1:18.18. In the women's pool, Emily Mannock in lane 6, representing Oxford, swimming in the S9 classification. She's had a busy old day here at the BUCS Short Course Swimming Championships. This the 3rd heat that she's competed in. Entry time for this one, 2:18.98, so she's just going to be just outside that, but let's give her some encouragement as she comes in for the final couple of strokes. 2:41.11 for Emily Mannock. Your attention, please. Could we have representatives from Bath and York to the timing suite? Representatives from Bath and York to the timing suite, please. In the women's pool, this is Heat 2. Heat 2 in the women's pool, we've got Tran, Allen, Ritchie, Bentley, Shaw, Flynn, Wong, Folkes, Hanbury Tracy and Connolly. And we're coming through to the very closing stages of this one. Entry times ranging between 1:15 and 1:16. Hanbury Tracy of Brooks Uni going very well in 8. And she takes the heat in 1:15.16. In the women's pool, it's heat 3. Heat 3 of the women's 100-metre backstroke. From lane 0, we've got Johnston, Vymans, Gaudion, Anderson, McKee, Riach, Jameson, Hughes, Sutherland and Wilson. Sophie Hughes in lane 7 for Liverpool, 0.82 of a second up at the halfway stage. She turns first. It's close between her and Maud Vymans of AECC in lane 1. And in the women's heat 3 was Sophie Hughes, who held on for Liverpool in 1:12.22. In the women's pool, this is heat 4. .25 to go in heat 4 of the women's 100-metre backstroke. Our leader just about is Heidi Wild of Edge Hill. She's been closely attended by Sophia Breeze of East Anglia in lane 2 throughout, and Sophia Breeze is starting to get going in the last 5 metres or so. It's going to be close between those two. It is Heidi Wild of Edge Hill who holds on in 1:10.85.
From lane 0. Alexandra Untitled. Millimeters out in front in 5 and 6. Or 6 and 7, Bennery and Campbell Walker. St Andrews teammates leading the way. They will take the top 2 places. The quicker of the which will be Bennery 25 and 95.
In the women's pool, this is Heat 5.
And the men's pool is Heat 16.
"20 metres to go for our leader in lane 3, Joanne Neal of Warwick for Heat 5. She's been out at the front from the beginning. Rowan McGill in 1 for Aberdeen, and in 6, Alexandra Brophy of Newcastle. Battling it out for second place in this heat, but it's Joanne Neal of Warwick who takes it in a good time of 108.05.
Richardson, Hattenford, Whiting, Merlin, McKay, Time, Johnson, Johnson, Hunter, and Ukesh. In lane number 3, Leon Mola representing Marshall. US leader halfway on the near side in 9, Nilash, Ukesh of Brighton. It is Leon Mola, 25, 75 win time, 70.
In the women's pool, it's time for Heat 6. Heat 6 of the women's 100-metre backstroke. Lane 6, Zelly Britton of Oxford is the heat winner in 107.27.
Final heats in the men's 50 metre butterfly. Webb, Scully and Blue Jones hangs on, 25-23.
In the women's pool, it's heat 7.
I was like, right, Nick, you watch one, I'll watch the other. We didn't state who we were watching. We didn't state who we were watching. So then when it was start, that was crazy stuff. And then when I was watching the movie, I was like, yeah, it's just no way. She watched it.
Heat 7 in the women's pool, coming to a close. Final 25 metres side by side in 3 and 4. Hayes and Doughty. Maisie Parkin of Southampton is doing well in 7, and right in front of us in 0, Emma Evans of Southampton as well. It could be any one of those 4. Let's have a look at the clock. It is Evans in 0 for Southampton in a time of 1:08.85. In the women's pool, this is Heat 8. From lane 0 in Heat 8, we've got Garbett, Schubert, Bryant, Atten, Finn, Fox Haskins, Butler Brown, Byrne, Thornley and Doubleday. In Heat 8, it is lane 8. Lisa Thornley, half a second up on Melissa Byrne of Southampton, inside her in lane 7, but the rest of the swimmers in this heat are not a million miles away. Lisa Thornley well supported from the stands here at Ponds Forge. She's leaving Byrne behind. Lane 3, Megan Atten of Cardiff looks to have moved in front. Lane 6, Butler Brown of Cambridge, maybe also ahead of the rest of the pack, but no doubt that the heat victory is going to Lisa Thornley of Leeds Beckett in 1:07.71. In the women's pool, it's Heat 9. Heat 9 in the women's pool then, Yeomanson in 0, Stead, Barber, Conroy, Gregory, Budris, Harris, Monday, Wallace and Childs. Kia Barber of Bath leading Monday by 0.38 seconds at the 50-metre split in Heat 9 of the women's 100-metre backstroke. Georgie Munday of East Anglia has got company right next to her in lane 6 from Charlotte Harris of Birmingham. Those are your top three. Kia Barber of Bath looks to be away from those other two. In lane 2, Kia Barber of Bath, 105.65. In the women's pool, it's event 513, the 400-metre freestyle. This is Heat 1. Let's have a look who we've got in the pool for Heat 1 of the women's 400-metre freestyle. 4 swimmers to get things going. In 3, Charlotte Howe from Chichester. Abigail Rock in lane 4 for King's College. Darcy Burnham of Exeter is in 5. And she is leading Rock by just over 2 seconds. And in lane 6, we've got Sarah Boundy of Aberystwyth. Let's check in with Heat 1 of the women's 400-metre freestyle. It's Darcy Burnham of Exeter leading the way at the 250-metre mark, 3:06.89. 5.34 seconds ahead of Abigail Rock of King's College in lane 4. Final 10 metres for the leader of Heat 1 in the women's 400-metre freestyle. Darcy Burnham of Exeter led out from the front, and she will touch first in 5:07.17. Abigail Rock of King's College second in the first heat, a time of 5 minutes and 16 seconds. In the women's pool, this is Heat 2. Your attention, please. Could we have representatives from Bath and York to the timing suite? Or representatives from Bath and York to the timing suite? Thank you. Let's turn our attention to the action in the women's pool, heat 2 of the 400 free. 0, Erin Crawford. In 1 is Claire Thompson. Lane 2, Kia Develta. Matfield in 3, Hoskova in 4, Conticini in lane 5, Holbrook in 6, McCormack in 7, Barker in 8, and Gaskell French in lane 9. No doubt about the leader in Heat 2 in the women's pool, Prisca Conticini of Glasgow, with 100 metres to go. She's been opening up the advantage by a second or two each time we get those split times. It's 10 seconds now, her advantage. And could we please have a representative from Aberystwyth to the timing suite? A representative from Aberystwyth to the timing suite, please. Conticini just 50 metres to go for her, 4:03.62 her split time. Claire Thompson of Glasgow, her teammate in lane 1, is almost 6 seconds ahead of her nearest competitor, Veronika Hoskova of Newcastle. But Prisca Conticini has taken this out at her own pace, and she will comfortably take Heat 2 in a time of 4:38.65, which is a huge improvement on her entry time of 4:54.55. That is super quick from Prisca Conticini. Final heat in the women's pool. This is heat 3. Once again, could we have a representative from Aberystwyth to the timing suite? A representative from Aberystwyth to the timing suite, please. Thank you. A 100 metres gone in the third and final heat of the 400 metres freestyle in the women's pool. Lane 0 is Gaia Panati. Lane 1 is Emma Carlton. Lane 2 is Jen Butcher. Lane 3 we've got Lois Davies. Lane 4 Katie Roscoe. Lane 5 Anna Draw. Lane 6 Molly Renton. 7 is Anya Thompson. And lane 8 Evie Anema. Is Jen Butcher of Warwick that's got a 3.45 second advantage over Evie Anema of Cambridge. So lanes 2 and then 8 leading the way in this third heat of the women's 400 free. Entry times span just 7 seconds really between them, 4:47 up to 4:54. Butcher leading at the halfway stage, just over 4 seconds ahead of Evie Anema, who herself is 2.2 seconds ahead of Anna Draw in lane 5. And she's got Katie Roscoe of Sheffield of lane 4 pushing her along. A 100 metres to go in the third of the women's heat. Butcher still leading, just over 4 seconds from Anema, who herself is pulling further clear of Anna Draw of Warwick. Katie Roscoe of Sheffield in the centre of the pool, lane 4, is making sure that Draw is not getting away from her. Those two a bit of a head-to-head battle in the centre 2 lanes. Elsewhere across the remainder of this heat, it's a bit of a spread. 50 metres to go for Jen Butcher of Warwick, 4:06.27. Anema 3.74 seconds down. So that gap has just got a little bit smaller. Jen Butcher's entry time at 4:50. And she is going to go comfortably inside that. 4:43.29 gives Jem Butcher a very comprehensive victory in Heat 3. Your attention, please. Could we have a representative from Aberdeen to the timing suite? A representative from Aberdeen to the timing suite. Thank you.
Technically to this third and final heat, because Entry times range from 4:16 to 4:27. And it is the slowest man on paper, Jack Turrell, who leads the way at 150 metres. Between this session and the finals, what I want you to do in that break is make sure you make your way to the American stand on the balcony, just as you exit your swimming pool. As we spoke about them all weekend, there is a $2,000 worth of earnings minimum you can get your hands on working over the summer in the United States. And one of these using your skills and expertise, your sporting background is so valuable. So do take advantage of the opportunity to get some great experience as well. This weekend only, therefore half-price reporters will secure your place using the code of BUCS swimming. And they've also got a spin the wheel competition, which I've been assured is an absolute guaranteed prize every single time. The only way you can lose is if you don't take part. Everyone is a winner if you take part. So please go visit the American stand on our headline partners like the BUCS Swimming Series and the BUCS Short Course Swimming Championship 22-23. Great bunch of guys and girls down on the stand. So do go and have a chat. Also, New Balance big partner for us this year. Official provider. So one of their QR codes around the venue. Place your order for some new gear at the New Balance web shop. Right, back into the action. We are into our final 50 metres. It is Kettlewell now of Sheffield Hallam that leads. 2 seconds up on the early leader, Luke Chapman.
Well, as you said, Ewan, that's the heats done and dusted. One more session still to come here at Ponds Forge in the BUCS Short Course Swimming Championships 2022-23. The final session starting at 3 o'clock. That's the next action you'll see in the pool. But do stick around. We've got some para-swimming medals to present in just a few moments' time. So action in the pool with all of the finals underway for session 6 at 3 o'clock. For those of you competing, warm-up will commence at 2 o'clock for all finalists. Mixed warm-up for all finalists starting at 2 o'clock. Session 6, our final session on this Sunday of the BUCS Short Course Swimming Championships. Coming up for you at 3 o'clock. Some para-swimming medal presentations on the way shortly. We have got our para-swimming victory ceremonies on the way for you. This is the victory ceremony for the women's 100-meter freestyle. The medals will be presented by Northeast Region Officials Coordinator David Broom. The winner of the bronze medal, representing Stirling, Abby Kane. The winner of the silver medal, representing Aberdeen, Faye Rogers. And the gold medalist and BUCS champion 2022, representing Stirling, Tony Shaw. Let's hear it one more time for your medal winners. The victory ceremony for the men's 100-meter freestyle. The gold medalist and BUCS champion 2022, representing Nottingham, Owen Say. Let's hear it one more time for your gold medalist. This is the victory ceremony for the women's 100-meter breaststroke. The winner of the silver medal, representing Edinburgh Napier, Laura Pilkington. The gold medalist and BUCS champion 2022, representing Nottingham, Aliyah Bachakoglu. Let's hear it one more time for your medal winners. This is the victory ceremony for the women's 200 meters individual medley. The winner of the silver medal, representing Stirling, Abby Kane. The gold medalist and BUCS champion 2022, representing Aberdeen, Faye Rogers. Let's hear it one more time for your medal winners. This is the victory ceremony for the women's 100-meter backstroke. The winner of the silver medal, representing Glasgow Caledonian, Beth Johnston. The gold medalist and BUCS champion 2022, representing Stirling, Abby Kane. Let's hear it one more time for your medal winners. This is the victory ceremony for the men's 100-meter backstroke. The winner of the silver medal, representing Sheffield Hallam, Joseph Clark. The gold medalist and BUCS champion 2022, representing Nottingham Trent, Connor Stewart. Let's hear it one more time for your medal winners. This is the victory ceremony for the women's 400 meters freestyle. Gold medalist and BUCS champion 2022, representing Stirling, Tony Shaw. Let's hear it one more time for our BUCS champion. This is the victory ceremony for the men's 400-meter freestyle. The winner of the silver medal, representing Nottingham, Owen Say. The gold medalist and BUCS champion 2022, representing Stirling, Ollie Carter. Let's hear it one more time for your medalists. This is the victory ceremony for the women's 100 meters freestyle. The gold medalist and BUCS champion 2022, representing Durham, Lucy Sharp. Let's hear it one more time for our BUCS champion. This is the victory ceremony for the women's para-swimming top performance. The winner of the Women's Para-Swimming Top Performance Award 2022, representing Stirling, Tony Shaw. Our Women's Para-Swimming Top Performance Award 2022, let's hear it one more time for Tony Shaw. This is the victory ceremony for the Men's Para-Swimming Top Performance Award. The winner of the Men's Para-Swimming Top Performance Award 2022, representing Stirling, Ollie Carter. Once again, our Men's Para-Swimming Top Performance Award 2022 goes to Ollie Carter. Thank you, everybody. That does conclude our para-swimming presentations. We've got warm-up starting for the final session in just over 3 minutes' time. Warm-up starting for all finalists at 2 o'clock. Session 6, the final session, coming for you at 3 o'clock.